Hey Robin, how did you catch the bug for beekeeping?
My husband was 13 years older than me. He still is older than me. He was 13 years older than me. So at his age of 65, I got to retire at 52. And we bought the fancy big RV and we traveled the country full time. Left all the property, didn't have an address except for a post office box here, and registered our vehicles in South Dakota, and off we went. And it was going to be forever. So after 2 years, we came back to visit one of our kids who lived on property, which is where we were hooked up for a year before he actually retired and we went off. So we lived in that RV for a year before we went. And so those hookups were still there. And the kids are like, you want to stay? And I'm like, I've been studying homesteading. Yes, solar, water catchment, solar oven, canning, chickens and bees, gardening and the bees, right? And I thought, I'm going to go to the bee meeting, and learn about bees, and then I'll be knowledgeable when I'm ready. But if you sign up to be a member, you can go to the next Saturday's hive dive. Ooh, go there into someone's bee yard and they're going to go into the hive. What? I can't miss that. So I plopped down my $25 to be a member. So the very first night, there's one guy who was like the smartest guy about bees in the whole club, right? And there's like 400 people in the club. All these people at the meeting would be around him asking his questions, right? He was open to mentoring. He didn't have a different job other than bees. And so I mentored with him for more than a year. Nearly every day we would do the bees. We would talk about bees. We would research about bees. We did the swarm collecting. We cut them out of the buildings. We grafted and made new queens. Wow. I was just hooked right off. It's fascinating. And every day there's something new to learn about bees, so it never gets old. And then spring comes and it's swarm season, and I have to go rescue the bees and rescue the people from the bees flying around, and they're afraid and they're running, and I'm walking amongst them because they're totally calm at that time. It's a high in the spring to go collect swarms. I don't need swarms nowadays. I still go collect them because it's so fun.
What part of the journey makes you feel beyond blessed?
I'm a curious person, and because there are so many facets to the bees, it keeps me interested. I like to be helpful and caring, and so I can do that in this field with mentees and also the public. I used to do classroom presentations with the posters and the observation hive, so the people can see and the kids can see the bees in action on a frame behind the glass. Educating other people, and I like with the swarm situation to explain to them what the bees are up to, that they don't have to be afraid of that. And then when I go there and collect the swarm in my flip-flops and my bare hands, they can feel at ease.
How long have you been a busy beekeeper?
I think this is year 10. And it's like every year, it's a different approach. First year, 150 hives, cutouts, queen rearing, all of that. Then when I started mentoring other people, I met Jameson 4 years ago, and he was 12. And he bought bees from me with his own money, from having sold lemonade and mistletoe on the street corner, and now he's buying bees. And I said, how long have you been liking bees and researching? Oh, I read books and I'm learning about bees. How long have you been doing that? 5 years. 5 years. You were 7? Oh yeah, studying bees since he was 7. He's now 15 and a half, nearly 16. And we still do some things together. He's a fascinating person. I did more with him than I did with any other mentee. When he bought the bees from me, I kind of took him under my wing, but he never asked. I'm like, I'll be over next Tuesday to show you some stuff. Oh, there's a swarm, let's go. And the family was a homeschooling family, 3 generations living in the house, and they were all into it as well. So we did a lot of swarm catching. The beautiful thing about catching swarms is that you see the bees in their natural behavior, and then you try to convince them to get into your little box. And it's not like herding cats. That's like 10 or 20 cats. This is like 5,000 to 10,000 bees, right? And the bees can sting. Hello, it's a little bit different. You've got to find the queen. How do you do that? You have to get control of her by putting her in the box or in a cage and then in the box. And then the other bees will communicate with each other, and that process of how they do that and how long it takes. And then when they finally get the message, they all just run in like thousands of bees running into the box. But if you don't get the queen, then what are you going to do? It's very interesting to figure out, okay, here's plan A. Oh, that didn't work as planned. Let's add this element.
How do I begin my journey into beekeeping?
I find in anything that I do, I noticed this when I was doing real estate, but bees in a big way as well. All you have to do is get in the game. You have to open the YouTube channel and watch something and be inspired, or have a question come up and then you ask, do some research on what does that term mean, or why did that happen? Or you go to the meetings and now you're talking with other people. Oh, that happened in your house. Or like, how did I find this property? Well, I sold bees to this guy, and then he put hives onto his friend's property. Then he didn't want to do it anymore, so then I was doing it. And then that guy said he knows somebody 35 minutes away, and now I have this property over here. And so just if you're in the game, then you will learn more, talk with the people, go online, always something to learn.